3 months later. I'm a horrible partner. I killed my friend.
Miles, wake up! Your house is on fire!
What?
Huh? What?
You see, I told you it was funnier when I did it to you.
Yes. Yes. Hilarious.
What's the matter? Have a rough night?
Overdid it on the soporific. Why do I feel like I've had this conversation before?
I'm just glad you're in the mood to converse again. Seriously, you took so much of that snake oil last night, I was starting to think you wanted me quiet for good.
I do!
That was the idea.
Come now, you don't really mean that.
Believe me, I do.
I know it's not easy, but there's really no need.
Not easy. Bill, I've been hearing your voice since you died. You don't shut up unless I take that accursed medicine. I'd say that qualifies as a bit more than not easy.
Yeah, well, how do you think I feel? You think I enjoy being trapped here, listening to you whine about how hard your life's become? You at least still have yours.
Wow. Guilt trip me.
I'm losing my grip on reality, and it's all because of you.
Believe me, I know. It's not a pretty situation. But the bottom fact is, you're stuck with me. So you can either keep living this way and ruin your life even more than you already have, or you can do as I've told you and try to figure out a way to let me move on.
I've dealt with you for the past 3 months. I can keep doing it.
Yeah, and with the way you've been going, you'll end up like me sooner rather than later.
So then it's back to your oh-so-clever plan of tracking down the burglar from the flower shop?
Yes, exactly.
I still don't get how that's going to help.
I can understand your confusion, considering it was you who killed me. But the point remains. You wouldn't have been in that situation in the first place if not for him. Once the criminal has been caught and is in custody, we'll both get what we want.
A decent night's sleep.
A decent night's sleep?
More than that, you'll have that elusive thing you always wanted to give others. Closure.
You do realize the trail's pretty much frozen at this point. Our man has seemingly vanished into the ether.
That's no excuse not to keep trying. I know the cases Upton's been giving you these past few months haven't been the most thrilling, but they've at least kept you active. So just keep at it. Something has to turn up eventually. Unless, of course, you want to wind up in Riverview Asylum. And if that happens, I'm really not going to keep quiet.
Fine.
Good man. Now, I suggest you stop talking to thin air, or Adelaide's gonna start wondering if you've gone mental. Or just maybe, she'll stop wondering.
Very funny.
He's mental. Alright, so you'll notice one thing that this game, how it handles clicking, so, you know, point and click adventures, you hover over objects, it's pixel hunting, right? And you click on them, and you get a little bit of a description.
Wouldn't you say it's time for a change of clothes, Miles? You've been wearing that coat for who knows how long.
So? Addie gave it to me. Besides, it gives me character.
Right. Brooding detective in a long black coat. That's never been seen before.
What are you talking about, Bill?
Never mind.
And what I really like about this game is it handles it differently than most point and clicks. Usually you click on something, and the protagonist, your avatar, will make a comment about it. But in this game, generally, it's Bill that makes a comment about it, and sometimes even dialogue happens between the two guys.
I'm certain a permanent indentation in the shape of your rear is starting to form on that thing. I always like that self-portrait of Adelaide's mother, even if the eyes do always follow you around the room.
So it's like a narrative in his head, in a way.
That's a fun little apparatus Adelaide got you. Very soothing.
Watching it spin long enough puts me right to sleep.
I'd say that's really more the soporifics doing.
And I don't know, I thought that was really well done. I like it.
Pretty, but I'm glad I don't have a sense of smell anymore.
Flowers.
Don't worry, Miles.
Flowers.
I don't watch when you and Adelaide are having your private time.
It would be nice if you didn't spend the whole time humming.
I thought you appreciated some romantic music.
How creepy would that be?
Cozy little winter getaway. That would be a welcome change from the winters in this city. Miles, care to explain what you're doing?
Just checking to make sure everything that needs to be in here still is.
Right. If you start taking that stuff during the day, you're really going to have problems.
Okay.
Adelaide's mother certainly enjoyed pressing flowers. Do you suppose she does more of it now that she's retired?
Maybe.
It's admirable just how organized Adelaide is. Maybe someday the same can be said about you. Ha, that poster brings back some memories. That's from around the time you two met, isn't it?
Yes, back when Addie was singing at the Angel.
Another thing you'll notice it does differently than point and clicks. Point and clicks generally, when you click on something, at least older point and clicks, a lot of point and click games nowadays, they're starting to realize the errors of the past of this genre. In the past, generally, if you were to click on something like this dressing table,
it's admirable just how
he
organized
would walk
Adelaide
over
is.
to it first.
Maybe someday the same can be said about you.
And then the comment will happen, the description of the item would happen. So if you're clicking on everything, he's walking all over, and those little walk times add up, and it lengthens the game. That still happens from time to time. I think when an object needs to be focused on by the character, it'll happen. But many times, like this poster...
Ha, that poster brings back some memories.
He doesn't walk.
That's from around the time you two met, isn't it?
Yes.
He just comments on it. And it saves time. I know it's only like 2 seconds of time, but when you have a room that may have 10 or 15 items, and then you have a house or an apartment that has 3 or 4 rooms, all that time can add up, and it's a little bit wasted. It's just one of them small things that point and clicks that were a little annoying in point and clicks that a lot of devs these days are starting to identify and remedy, and I think that's just cool.
Well, look who's awake. Ready to rejoin the living?
Very much so.
You were talking in your sleep again.
Did I say anything interesting?
Do you ever?
You have to admit, she's got you there.
How are you feeling?
A touch groggy. I think I took a bit too much of the soporific last night.
That's what I thought. When you went for your after-lunch nap, you'd barely gotten breakfast down. I saved you some bread and cheese if you're hungry.
Thank you, but I haven't got much of an appetite.
You really should regulate your doses more carefully, love. I'm sure dull senses and an empty stomach aren't much help to your work. By the way, a message arrived via courier for you this morning. I put it on the table along with today's newspaper.
Thank you, dear.
Gotcha. Let's look around. What do we got?
You remember how much time Adelaide had to spend convincing you to sit for this? At least these days, with ferrotype tech advancing the way it is, these portraits can be done in just a matter of minutes.
Minutes.
It might do you some good to look in the mirror a bit more often, Miles.
Wow.
I always liked that painting. It's impossible to see that kind of scenery here in the city.
That wasn't the same painting that was in the flower shop, was it? I don't think it was.
That makes me wonder what old Mrs. Handbrook is up to these days.
Yeah, me too.
Adelaide's father certainly had an amazing life. Imagine being the personal barber to the Prime Minister and his family. The gossip and secrets he must have heard.
Okay.
Didn't I give you two that clock as a wedding present? Too bad it stopped working. I can see why Adelaide calls that plant Miles Jr. It's a spitting image.
Miles Jr. It makes me wonder if that is any way a reference to Little Shop of Horrors with the plant being called Audrey too. Probably a coincidence. I don't know.
How are your parents doing these days? It's been ages since you wrote them. Your book collection has always astonished me. Heaven help you if you ever decide to move.
See, imagine how much longer this would be if he had to walk to each item before anything was mentioned. It would take a while.
Building those model ships was a good way to pass the time between cases. Hopefully it'll be a while before you get enough time to build another one.
Although I wonder if it would be better, a very small nitpick, if he at least turned towards the item he was commenting on.
Ah, the Havisham case. Our first time out as partners. First in a long line of successful cases. It's nice to have a memory of the good old days. Bollingworth Ale. My favorite! And a nice souvenir from the Angel. You really ought to go back there someday.
Okay.
I'd love to see the look on Snelling's face if he ever found out you kept your old truncheon. It's been so long since you used that desk. Did you even notice when Adelaide got rid of the chair?
I didn't. I think that's it. At the front door, and we get whatever this is, the message. All right. Is there... Oh.
Upton says she's
God
got a big
bless it.
case for me.
I didn't mean to click
Does
on
she
it.
go into any more detail than that?
No, but then you know Upton. Always on a need-to-know basis. Especially since she's been giving me these cases under the table.
To be fair, they haven't exactly been anything of note.
True, but she's still sticking her neck out for me. I can understand why she's so secretive about it.
I think she just misses having you around the station.
Poor Connie. With you quitting and me dying, she must be bored stiff at work.
Anyway, I'm supposed to meet her at the ruined coffee house. That can't be right.
It's not like Constance to make mistakes. She must have gotten in somehow.
Guess I'll head over there and see what she's got then.
All right. There we go. A big case has come in, which I think will interest you. Meet me at the ruined coffee house for more details. Gotcha. Okay, Adelaide, let's talk a little bit more.
Addie?
Yes, dear?
How's work going? Do you have any appointments today?
Yes, one this evening. It's been a bit slow lately, but pretty soon it'll be debutante ball season, and all the Gascon grand dames will need their hair done. You sure I can't convince you to let me give you a little trim? You've been looking awfully scruffy lately.
What's the point? I've got no need to go peacocking around town. You're the only girl for me.
I like it when you're clean cut. It brings out your eyes.
The way my eyes have been looking lately, I think it's best to keep them hidden.
I'm with you, bud.
I've still got that song you sang last week at the Rutherford stuck in my head. You were amazing.
Thank you, Miles. That was a lovely evening. I always enjoy it when Joseph brings out his violin and we can relive the old days.
Certainly nicer than when he spends hours telling the exact same story whenever you visit.
They were very glad to see you, you know.
It's probably the most fun I've had in months, to be honest.
They've invited us for dinner again in a couple of weeks, if you're feeling up to it.
I hope I am.
He's gonna be high. We know it. We both know it.
What's that you're reading?
It's a collection of short stories by James Penstroke. It was just published earlier this month.
Any good?
Oh yes, I love his work. He's been publishing a new serial in Brentwell magazine. I can't wait to read it. Perhaps we both can together? I think you'd enjoy him.
Lately, I haven't been able to concentrate on a page for more than 5 minutes without nodding off.
That is a pity.
Me too. Me too, Miles.
How are you? It feels as though we haven't seen much of each other these past few days.
I've been fine.
Addie, you're not a very good liar. What's on your mind?
I'm worried about you, Miles.
I know, but I've told you, there's no need to worry about me. I'm all right.
You're not all right, Miles. I may not be a good liar, but you can't fool me either.
I am all right. What do I have to do to convince you of that?
You could start by throwing out that sleeping medicine. It's turned you into a different person.
I needed to sleep, Addie. I'll become an even worse person without it, believe me.
I know Bill's death was hard for you. It was hard for all of us. But whatever it is that's bothering you, you know you can talk to me
It's
about it.
Bill!
That's what I'm here for.
I know, my love. Your support means the world to me. I need some time to deal with things. That's all. It won't always be like this, I promise.
Making promises you can't keep, eh, Miles? That'll end well.
Yep.
I'll let you get back to your book.
All right. Cool beans. I think I'm ready to go. Let's beat it.
I'll see you later, Addie.
Give my regards to Constance.
On the ruined coffee house. Okay. I grew up with someone named... Well, they didn't pronounce it Gascon. They pronounced it Gascoigne. But I grew up with someone like that name. All right. We are here. Top right. This is Worcester? And then they pronounce it Worcester? I don't remember. Fenton Swamp, Lyon, Chumley. And we're in New Britannia. This is the coffee house.
Ah, the Rouen Coffee House. Worst Java in Lamplight City, but there's no better place to overhear all the rumors and gossip in town. Just make sure you don't get too close to the other patrons. Discretion was never your forte.
Okay. No problem. Patron. This guy looks like Michael Moore.
Best avoid that one. He looks like he might tip over at any moment.
Oh.
Reminds me of when I was alive. Ah, good times.
So it is Michael Moore. Alright. What else we got in here?
What a cheery reminder of everyone's impending death. That whole thing about the man in the black robe, complete lie, by the way.
How would you know? You're not fully dead?
Green's sulfur soap. Beautifies the complexion and leaves you smelling fresh as a daisy. Talk about false advertising. I couldn't get a date for a week after using that stuff.
Sulfur soap.
Dr. Tennyson's Vigor Pills. Absolutely guaranteed to restore vitality, youth, and vigor or your money back. For use by men only. These things seem to have had a spike in popularity recently.
Why is that? That sounds like foreshadowing.
Dr. W.S. Sales Wonder Tonic. The best and safest medicine for both gentlemen and ladies. Prevents consumption, general weakness, feverishness, indigestion, constipation, diarrhea, loss of appetite, flatulence, and head pain. They should also mention that it prevents breathing, heartbeats, and being alive.
Yep, nice.
Professor Xander Colt Tit III's emulsified soporific, available at all discerning pharmacies. I really don't know why you think taking that rat piss every night is a good idea, Fordham.
So that's what we consume?
Professor Xander Colt Tit III's
Xander Coltit the Third?
Simon Banks, professional chimney sweep. Services start at 2 coppers per hour. Inquire at 305 Merrick Lane.
Okay.
I'm sure he's a lovable urchin, but thankfully, your chimney is clean.
How does he know that?
P.D. Preston's patented papier-mâché perambucat. Handsomely upholstered in silk, satin, or velvet, and hand-painted in the most artistic manner, as shown in engraving. I suppose if you and Adelaide ever finally decide to have children, something like this will come in handy.
Can't have children, we already called the plant Junior. Too late.
All that metal and tubing just to serve a hot cup of coffee?
Well, yeah. Uh-oh.
Not in much of a hurry to clean up in here, are they?
Alright, I think we can move on to people. Oh, nope, there's
Seems
bottles.
like they have a little something for everyone in here. Give me an old-fashioned tea kettle any day. A young woman holding a guitar. Completely the wrong way, I might add.
Alright, let's snoop on these dudes.
He and his friend are having quite the conversation. I bet it's really boring.
Or not.
He's missing his left arm below the elbow. How do you suppose that happened?
Okay, how about this guy?
Asleep at a coffee house. One of life's little ironies.
I suppose so.
Just one of many patrons contributing to the oppressive thug in here. She's running back and forth at lightning speed. Clearly, she dips into the coffee supply.
It's probably encouraged. Get her to work harder, faster. More energy. Alright, let's meet up with our rendezvous
It isn't my
here.
old friend. Up to no good.
Hello, Fordham.
Up to
It's
no
good to
good.
see you.
How did you get them to let you in here?
It's rather simple, really. The owner and I have an understanding. He pretends women are allowed in coffee houses, and I don't report his unsavory business practices to Chief Snelling.
Sounds like a good deal. What sort of unsavory business practices are we talking about?
Oh, we haven't got time to get into that now. But take some advice. Don't order anything that isn't water.
Interesting. I don't remember that from the demo either. It's in. I'm not saying it wasn't in the demo. My memory just could be bad, or I just completely missed it. But women weren't allowed in coffee houses here. And remember, Adelaide said something about she finally found her way in here. I don't remember that at all. So that's another piece to the puzzle of this world. Women aren't allowed in coffee houses. Okay.
Managed to sneak another case past Snelling, eh?
Yes, and if he finds out I did, it won't be pretty. This is a big one. We're not in Lost Cat territory anymore.
So stop teasing me and tell me what it is already.
Do you know Madame Laura Dupre?
No.
Can't say the name rings any bells.
I'm not surprised. She's one of the Gascon Grand Dames. Doesn't really run in our kind of social circles.
Ah, right.
Madame Dupre died the day before yesterday. Her funeral was held this morning.
My condolences.
But halfway through the service, the mourners heard a loud knocking coming from inside her coffin.
She wasn't dead?
Apparently not. Nearly interred alive, although her doctor swears she had no pulse. Dupre's son Andrew was quick to suspect foul play. He accused a man named Albert Martin, and the police arrested him.
So where do I come in? Sounds like the case has already been solved.
I strongly suspect that Martin is innocent, especially considering the talk of him having used black magic on Dupre. The police feel they have enough evidence to convict, so they're not bothering to investigate any further. You're going to look into it and see if I'm right, then find the person who was really behind this.
Okay, I could do that.
Has Madame Dupre recovered from her ordeal?
I'm afraid not. Apparently she's been catatonic since they pulled her out of the coffin.
How unfortunate.
If you'd like to question Mr. Martin, he's being held at the Bow Street Jail. Or you could take a look around his house. It's at 451 Compton Street in Worcester.
And the Dupre home?
That's at Emmeline and Comtesse, right across from the old Angeline convent. It's also possible you might run into the police during your investigation, since they're technically still on the case.
Thanks for the warning.
Catatonic, eh? I'm sure we got a lot to talk about.
Was there anything you wanted to talk about before you get started?
Ooh, maybe. Yeah.
Yes, actually, I had a couple of questions.
Let's hear them then.
Well, tell me about yourself.
Work is hectic
no!
as usual,
I
and
clicked
I'm
it.
spending my day off in here. But considering my home life is still a shambles, maybe this is the best place to be.
I'm truly sorry about that.
Don't be ridiculous. If it hadn't been for you, I'd still be chained to that philandering bastard. It hasn't been easy, but I'm much better off this way. Trust me. Anyway, work gives me something to focus on. I'm sure you can relate to that.
Yes, and I'm grateful to you for getting me these case leads. I know you're taking a risk to do it.
It's the least I can do. How about you? How's Adelaide?
She's fine, although things between us could be improved, if I'm being honest. The less said about it right now, the better, I think.
I'm sorry to hear that. You can talk to me about it if you need to, although I'm probably not the best person to ask for relationship advice.
Okay, let's talk about Bill.
Don't suppose there have been any developments regarding Bill's murder.
Unfortunately not. The department hasn't exactly been focusing on that case as a priority. The general attitude is that it was an accident. Bill died an honorable death in the line of duty.
Would have been nice if they bothered saying that at the funeral.
And of course, there are still those who blame you for his death,
Well,
spelling being
yeah.
the first and foremost.
But the man who really caused Bill's death is still out there.
Yes, I know, but it looks like you're on your own if you want to find him. My hands are tied. I can only ask around so much before the higher-ups get suspicious. Just don't give up. New Britannia may be a big city, but the criminal world is surprisingly close-knit. If you find any connections or leads during your other cases, be sure and let me know. I'll do the same if I find anything out.
See, she has a priority straight. You could learn a lot from Upton.
So that pretty much confirms that I did not shoot him. He was shoved off by the burglar. I don't know exactly where my bullet went. That wasn't a very long distance, and if I am a detective and I can't hit anything from that distance, it may be a good thing that I quit.
I wanted to go over the case with you.
Okay, what have you got?
Tell me about Madame Dupre.
What do you know about Madame Dupre?
Only what I've read about her in the paper. She's been married thrice, which I can empathize with, and she's extremely rich, which I can't.
What makes you think this Martin fellow is innocent?
The fact that the only evidence is the word of Dupre's son. I've seen this sort of thing thousands of times, and I'm sure you did too. They're just looking for a scapegoat. You're the only person I know who can put it right.
Upton's intentions are noble, but she has to realize this is just a drop in the ocean.
That's enough about the case for now.
Okay,
That's it, I think.
then you'd better get back to it.
Yep.
Well, I'm not entirely sure how this is going to help you find the flower shop burglar, but I suppose freeing an innocent man is a worthy diversion.
Eyewitness testimony is
Good to see you up and about again.
Oh, you got something to say now, eh? Eyewitness testimony is the least dependable type of evidence. I think these people talk if you get close to them.
So you plan on going to the Lygia vigil tonight?
Nah. I heard Harris is gonna be giving a speech. There's no way I could look that man in the face.
You know it's not his fault, right? I think he's getting an unfair reputation.
If he cared enough to make sure the airship was safe, it never would have crashed. He's as much at fault as anyone.
You really should go. Eliza would have wanted it, I think.
I know, you're right. I'll think about it.
Okay.
Hard to believe it's already been 3 months since the big crash.
I know. I was just thinking the other day how much Lucy has grown up in such a short amount of time.
Does she understand what happened?
I think so. She's been asking questions about her mama lately, but I still haven't told her the whole story.
You'll know when the time is right.
So that's
So what do you think
two
will
people who
happen
lost
if
their
the rest of this
wives.
stuff turns out to be real?
Honestly, nothing. The rich will stay rich, and the poor will stay poor.
That's a pretty dark way of seeing it. They're saying it'll improve everyone's lives.
They'd say that about eating rat poison if they thought it meant earning an extra crown.
Well, I prefer to think positive. Who knows? Maybe someday I'll have my hand back.
If you believe that, then I got a bridge in the chum to sell you.
All right, let's beat it. It's Graham. So two men lost their wives in what is probably a dirigible crash, right? All right, so we got 451 Compton Street. We have the Bow Street, or is it Bow Street? The jail. When I streamed this, the developer was in my stream watching. He said that that's an old English way of spelling jail, which I did not know. And Dupree Manor. So I think what I would do is let's talk to the accused first. So I guess we're going to the Bow Street jail.